Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Magic Arena Run. Today we are doing another, actually not another, it's the last of the Challenger decks for the year 2022. We previously done a mono white aggro, done a Gruul mid-range aggro, we've done a Dimir control, still leaves a bad taste on my mouth. And not only because it's kinda bad. But now we are going through the last of the decks, and it's supposedly built around a certain meta, but I'll be honest, I've never seen this deck. I've seen some iterations of this deck, but I've not seen this deck at all. And probably because it's actually the one deck that incorporates a lot of the newest cards. So this is the Rakdos deck. It actually is a vampire style deck, mostly centers around the blood tokens, but has interesting ways of using it. So first, let's get the guys to generate the blood tokens. So Voldaren Epicure, always there. Voldaren Bloodcaster, who bleeds my rare wild cards, but also a very good way of generating a lot of blood tokens. You kind of have to sacrifice your actual vampires, but it is what it is. 4 copies of Blood-Tide Harvester as additional removal. We do have some more removal on the sideboard. Some copies of Vampire Socialite just to go wide, really wide. Dominating Vampire as a way to clear the board. Primarily 2 copies of Florian, Voldaren Scion to give us additional card advantage. We have the single mythic and Enrica Domnati, always very good. A lot of incidental flyers, so very good at punching through. Not necessarily Death Touch, Lifelink, but we have enough incidental flyers to work there. Immerstrom Predator makes its return from Kaldheim. So these are all our vampires. But let's take a look at the interesting uses for everything else. So we have a single copy of Village Rites. This could easily be Deadly Dispute, let's be honest. But we have 4 copies of Voltage Surge, a very good use for the blood tokens. 2 copies of Mukotai's Soul Ripper. Actually, between the blood tokens and creatures, we can easily get a vehicle that's very hard for our opponents to block. We have 2 copies of Sokenzan Smelter, way to convert some of them blood tokens into larger threats. 2 copies of Oni-Cult Anvil if we need something called Inevitability. And we have Den of the Bugbear. Voldaren Estate makes its appearance here mostly to generate blood tokens. But we have on our sideboard copies of Duress, an additional Infernal Grasp, 4 copies of Abraider, assuming, well, we can't exactly deal with enchantments with this lineup, but we can deal with a lot of artifacts. Callous Blood Mage, nice toolbox. I believe the exile target player's graveyard is going to be the most important one. 3 copies of Falcon Rat Forebear. Makes blood tokens. Another decent flyer. Also Inevitability on a stick. And 2 copies of Anya. Maid of Dishonor. Very painful way for our opponent to spend them blood tokens. Also a good also a way to generate sacrifices as well. So we're definitely going in with that one. This is going to be the last of our Challenger series. As is, okay, I'll admit that we kind of goofed up on the last Gruul aggro build. I accidentally added some cards that are not supposed to be there. But yeah, but I did mention suggested fix if you're buying it out of the box. Just exchange the 2 copies of Huntmaster with the Tovolar from the sideboard. But that said, we're gonna make do with this one. I've done some testing a little bit earlier to some really promising results, although I will admit that none of the 2 decks I ran into were not meta. So I'm concerned what it would be like if I were to run up against a real meta deck. So, but otherwise we'll see how it goes. Opponent does get the jump on us. We can probably lead. Ideally, we have a way to generate blood tokens, but we could easily just lead on Soul Ripper into Bloodcaster Swing. Yeah. My initial reaction is that this deck seems to have a flooding problem. I suspect our opponent usually would have a second one. I'd rather they spend it now, so let's make them spend it. Yeah, because there's an argument to say, oh, I could have actually just gone for the Oni-Cult Anvil if I figured our opponent was going to spend it. Okay, no, the opponent let it go. I suspect they do have a counter spell. Oh, Magma. Oh, it's that combo. So definitely gonna bring in the Callous Blood Mages. They did have the... I'm pretty sure they had the Radiance. So we can swing with Soul Ripper. We don't have to actually sack. We don't actually have to sack Bloodcaster. In fact, I probably won't. If our opponent has a way to deal with this, we will just use our single village rights to... Okay, no, none of that. So we can end the turn there. Going to be awkward if I have to play the Vampire Socialite on turn 2 for no profit, but I guess we can do that. Goldspan Dragon. Okay, opponent dropping them big guns. So we are kind of racing. Hold on. I'm gonna lead off on our single Infernal Grasp. Yeah, don't... Let's see if our opponent does have an answer to this. But at the very least, if they don't answer anything else, we can swing with Soul Ripper, then drop Vampire Socialite for... Also remember that Estate is a multicolored land for as far as our vampires are concerned. Opponent does have a way to protect, I believe. Sorry, command. We can crew, but we're actually gonna let that resolve because we need to actually deal damage. If our opponent tries to take out the Bloodcaster, I will flip the script and then crew the Soul Ripper. That way, we'll still only get one blood token out of the mix, but now our opponent might have burned down the house or similar effect. It will net us blood tokens, which is good for the incoming Oni-Cult Anvil. Goldspan Dragon again. This is gonna... We're definitely bringing in the... Now, because we kind of need some help here, I could just make a blood token, but we're actually going to go for a bit of a long stretch. We're going to sack Socialite, generate the blood token. Immerstrom Predator is nice. So is the Blood Tide Harvester. I could go for Oni-Cult Anvil, but I think that can wait. No. No haste, unfortunately, but we should be able to snipe this other Goldspan Dragon if our opponent doesn't have any other plans. Otherwise, it's pretty much Oni-Cult Anvil, start draining our opponent a little bit. We can use Immerstrom Predator as backup. So we have to remember, it's activate only as a sorcery, so our opponent can get us with Magma Opus. Yeah, looks like this might be the first of our really bad matchups. Celestus. Okay, so we are bringing in the Braids as well. Although it's a bit sketchy, our opponent has not demonstrated anything smaller than a Goldspan Dragon. would say, yeah, I figured they'd have a way to bounce. It does open the way for a lot of things, so... Okay. First things first, Image from Predator. Then we can play Oni-Cult Anvil. This one's just sacrifice another creature. Alternatively, I could also play the Bloodtide Harvester, get ready to threaten this, but... I'm gonna threaten something else. Not so sure if that's the correct play, to be honest. I think there's still an argument for Bloodtide Harvester just to get rid of Goldspan ASAP. Opponent's swimming in so much mana that Magma Opus is really an issue. So it's gonna be Goldspan again. Galvanic Iteration, holding up some mana. Let's see. They have literally one card left, so what spell could that possibly be? Burn down the house. So what are... So they're doing the tokens mode. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That is more than enough. Although... there is a trick here. Generates a token. We cast the blocks first. Then go to damage. Sack this. And we'll eat their Galvanic Iteration. So we get to eat their dragon. And they have no way of sacrificing them tokens. There we go. We managed to survive that. Okay, so knowing what our opponent has, definitely Infernal Grasp, definitely the Duress. Duress is becoming an all-star for this deck. Callous Blood Mage also makes an appearance. Not sure about the Break quite yet. Not sure about Anya. I suspect she's gonna be in for a bigger... So the ones I've always been cutting have been the Smelters. We keep the Voltage Surge because that is another removal that can hit. We cut the Dominating Vampire. We cut one Predator. And there's an argument for cutting the Soul Ripper because because this is a lot. I guess what we can do is we can cut the 2 Soul Rippers, add 1 Forebearer. We'll run it like this. Let's see how it pans out. So, very interesting start there. I'll admit all of this is colored by the fact that our opponent literally only showed us Goldspan Dragon, Burn Down the House, Galvanic Iteration, which I suspect is for an unexpected windfall. And not much of anything else. I've heard stories of people that like, before this gets banned, we're gonna join an event, and several months later we're gonna continue and blow people's minds. I did not see any single foretell, so that's kind of out of the question. Usually, I'll be honest. If I see the opponent foretell, then maybe we might be onto something. That said, right now our opponent is onto nothing because they've not done anything. Let's do a battlefield check. Their timer's ticking down. Okay. So this is horrible. It's literally Voltage Surge into a Vampire Socialite with nothing whatsoever. Like, I guess I could play a few more lands and eventually start making blood tokens, but this is Stone Cold Absolute Worst. I guess we kind of have to mulligan. Come on. Game, seriously. Yeah, this is gonna be kind of a gimme, but at least we have the Epicure for the Voltage Surge. We just need, so we're gonna have to maintain that token for as long as possible. Also, not too bad. We do get lead on Epicure immediately. We have to decide if we want to hold up the we probably hold up Village Rights. Yeah, we're gonna pass. Nah, we're gonna pass. Okay, now we go for it. Our opponent really sandbagged a lot. They could have a counter for this. Nope, no counter. Okay, so we definitely need a lot of double black here. Kind of weird for this deck. It's base red, but we're running a lot of double black. Anyway, let's see what our opponent has to work with. So, windfall, fading hope. We'll take away the fading hope. Yeah, they could respond with Galvanic Iteration, but hey, let's be fair. I mulled more cards than you did. Can't complain. You can't complain about it. Now, if I had kept that 5-lander, I don't know if I would have felt better or not. But it's really hard to say. You have to always assume your opponent is playing to their to their best case scenario, and it's also it's just unfortunate. Our opponent just had 2 mana. The Izzet deck is super mana hungry. I honestly would not have kept the 2-lander without Expressive Iteration. Like, sure, Fading Hope does get a scry once in a while. That would be a good case for it, but let's go. Okay. Let's see if our opponent can hit the 3rd mana. It's when they start hitting mana number 4 that things get okay, they hit their 3rd mana. Forced to give up the ruins. So, knowing that, still gonna hold up Voltage Surge because we see our opponent has a Gold Fan Dragon. Things get critical when they do hit unexpected windfall man. They might just do it immediately. So worst case is so we hit another Epicure, but because we know our opponent has a board wipe, we're just gonna swing. I can see an argument for just playing the Anvil at this point. Yeah, that's a given. What did they discard? They discarded the Galvanic Iteration, makes sense. So we know they're about to wipe our board. So just Oni-Cult Anvil. I want to see if they do they probably do Battle of Frost and Fire first. I don't see. Yep. So let that resolve. We should get some blood tokens out of that. So we hit our black mana, so we can kind of start rebuilding with I could play an Epicure again, but we kind of want to start rebuilding with a larger threat. Yeah, and you also want to start eating your graveyard. Again, holding up Voltage Surge. We can't really do anything if our opponent does Hullbreaker Horror. That's kind of the end for us. Our best bet is just to keep cycling the anvil if it gets to that point. If our opponent goes for Goldspan Dragon, we will unfortunately end up giving them the mana for Hullbreaker Horror afterwards. We might be able to top deck into one of our Infernal Grasps. So, now we are taking a risk here. There's a chance that we're going to end up giving them even more tokens, but can't be helped on this case. We are kind of coming from behind already. Okay, we do snipe it. Opponent, I feel like our opponent is sandbagging this for Hullbreaker. We have no way of sniping it. So we will play the Vampire Socialite. We are opening ourselves up to a burn down the house. So given that, we're gonna play conservatively and just cycle the construct. So Hullbreaker Horror does not save them. Battle does save them. Yeah, that was fun. We could have also just held back, I guess. We are getting close, but yeah, it's a good thing we started saving these tokens. Bloodcaster is always good. It's kind of unfortunate we're doing this at what we consider an inopportune time. But we kind of want to generate the extra value here. If I could just do it at the end of my turn and still get the construct, I definitely would. It would have kept us from getting majorly blown out, but... Okay, opponents... So we know our opponent does have a Hullbreaker Horror, so we... Expressive Iteration. They could still get access to Hullbreaker, but not quite. Also note that we only do that 1 damage and gain 1 life if we activate the anvil specifically. Opponent gets themselves a Den of the Bugbear, so... Okay, no Windfall in our future. Do they have another board wipe? I would not be surprised if there's like a total of 6 copies between Frost and Fire. Cinderclasm. Oh, sure, that's fine. They might have a counter for this. It will feel really bad, but it'd still be a counter, I'd say, I suppose. So since we already played that, we might as well crack this. Though technically we could have done this end of turn. There is no need to do this now. We already got the token here. We did not need to do this. Opponent could cash in Unexpected Windfall now. It's well, no net mana gain, but depends on the cards in hand. If they really want those, yeah, they're cashing in Prismari Command. Yeah, we were gonna lose it eventually. So our best bet is to start cashing these blood tokens, and we're so close. Yet so far. Opponent discards the Hullbreaker Horror. What gives? Do they have a dragon? Could have another Hullbreaker Horror. Lier would also be a problem. At least we have 2 tokens that we can start. They did hit the second horror. If our opponent doesn't cash in this treasure, we can actually just hit them for 1, I guess. This feels super weird. Okay, they might have something. They might have multiple things to cast, so that would kind of wreck us a bit. Unfortunately, because we only have 2 blood tokens, I would love to just discard this to try to cash in something else, but we literally have only 2 blood tokens. So we're gonna just cast this now. Can't block anyway. That's never been the issue. Basically, we're giving our opponent some bait. I kind of have to swing in the event our opponent does have something else. Also, it flies, so it is a very good target, I suppose. So I need to decide if I want to swing with these 2 for the definite 1 or just pass. There's no profit to us if any of these guys die right now. We don't exactly have a 1-point burn. We could draw into an Oni-Cult Anvil. So we're gonna play through the most of our outs and just swing. If they have a spell that they can cast, I'm actually kind of fine with it. Cinderclasm. Bounce this a token. Okay, so that does wreck everything. Yeah, opponent went all in here. You kind of just need a way to generate another. Also, have to note that this will bounce something. Okay. Voltaic Estate. Probably not generating tokens anytime soon. Our opponent can just bounce this and take it out of consideration. Yeah. And this is return to choose up to 1. So our opponent just has to remember not to choose 0. Okay, so they are going for the full grid. We are a few points away, but we literally have no direct burn. I guess that's probably one thing I would consider. That might be a case for adding Anya, but she is very expensive. But hey, we were coming off a mulligan from 4 cards, so I can't complain too much. And our opponent did have double Battle Frost. I believe what our opponent just had the. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna catch up with this. Let's go to the because our opponent between the full grip and whatnot. Also, all our creatures being soft to Cinderclasm is a bit of an issue. Dominating Vampire not taking anything anytime soon. I'm gonna actually add one copy of Anja as a surprise. We could cut the Forebearer for that reason. I guess we can add both, but I would have no idea what to cut. We'll just add 1 for now. Because we have to remember that Immerstrom Predator is very good against their damage-based removal, but it's really horrible against Hullbreaker, Horror, and any foul spell effects. Now definitely playing first. Definitely keeping this. So Duress into Harvester is always pretty good. Opponent taking a mulligan, so please, okay. Let's see if they actually have anything good. So Spikefield Hazard, Juari Disruption Fading. Oh, we're gonna take the Spikefield Hazard because that's a red source. That's the. I would not be surprised if they just played the. Yep. So we lead on to Blood Type Harvester. Opponent could bounce this. I actually would not mind if they did. They might also have a burn spell. We'll see. So what we will do is we will play Den of the Bugbear, replay the Harvester. Generate another blood token. We just need to dodge a disruption for. Well, there's an Oni-Cult Anvil. We can go for that. I want to play the Predator as soon as possible. actually no. We will need double black eventually, so we will discard the mountain. Okay, that's perfect. Oh wait, no, we would have gotten double black. What gives? Now, oddly enough, our opponent did hit mana number 4. We know they're about to hit their gold span dragons. We could also be running into a Wrath effect. So I need to know the identity of this last card. Okay, they're gonna pass, which is correct. Have to give them the treasure. We could swing with everything, but that's just setting them up for even more mana, and we have no idea what they have. So we're probably just gonna take the Bloodflow Caves. Now they could easily play this last. Oh, so they are flooding. Eat one dragon. See if our opponent blocks. No, does not block. Which means we should have played Florian earlier. I don't see a reason to eat their graveyard now, so we're actually gonna go Callous Blood Mage. See if we can hit. Draw a card, lose a life. See if we can hit an Epicure. No, hit a Voltage Surge, so. Let's see, this is good. So we actually answered both dragons. Now the inevitable concern is going to be the Hullbreaker Horror. No, opponent concedes. We got there. Ooh, that felt good. So that first game was a bit of a a bit of a pickle for us, but we did get there. We got our first match win. Nice, very nice. So one more match win, we can get our money back. So I don't feel too bad about spending. But you know what? We're cool with this. And that was a very interesting. Well, it does show some weaknesses. Like we can't beat the Hullbreaker Horror. So there's probably an argument for more Infernal Grasps. I like the sideboard duress. It is very specific. Maybe if there could be an argument for something like a Concealing Curtains that hits almost everything, just gives your opponent a card, so there's a drawback there. Okay, definitely keeping this. Caves into Bloodkite Harvester. We can run Smelter next turn if we don't need to kill anything of our opponents. Starting to look unlikely, so we are going to... Yeah, the white-blue start means it's kinda unlikely. We will see. We might be able... If our opponent foretells a card, we are not playing... No, Bank Bust. Okay. Okay, we can't pay the 1, so we might actually just pass. hold up the Infernal Grasp, which is more unlikely, but hold up the Village Rites, which is more likely. Okay, so no Doomscar quite yet. So we're just doing this for the fast damage. Could this be a vehicle then? Nope. But we're seeing enough artifacts that we are maining some of the braids. In fact, I kind of want to just draw more cards now for... We got the Immerstrom Predator, which is great. We probably want to cast it, maybe cast it now so we can dodge... We could dodge counter spells. Although our opponent could have an exile effect, but... Oh, actually that's my wait. Let's say I cast this. Our opponent exiles it. It will cost them 2 cards. In addition to... So they'll be spending 3 cards. You know what? That's worth it. Our opponent could have the Doomscar, but we can just sack the Harvester, protect. So we're kind of good in that one. We can't... We have to also be careful of... Wandering Emperor... Okay, that might be it. Okay, so no Wandering Emperor quite yet. Double Foretell, so... Definitely bringing the... Definitely bringing the Duresses in. I think we're kind of bringing Duresses in every time. So, actually we need to do some math. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13... Close, but not close enough. If our opponent rats the board, we can... Oh, we can... I don't think they can both rat and exile. Oh, okay, but there is one caveat. I play the Smelter. I can only make 1 3-1 because the second Smelter does nothing. I can either hold this up. I can also just play the Soul Ripper now. My concern is a Farewell. But it would... So we need to deal as much damage. So 3, 6, 9, 10. I guess this is fine. Let's just hold the Infernal Grasp for now. Eat the planes. Yeah, so we're forcing them to cast Farewell. If they cast Doomscar, it does not answer Predator. Also, we have enough mana for Den of the Bugbear, so that also does not help them either. If they cast a creature, we might be able to nuke it. See if they have an answer for this. Yeah, Immerstrom Predator wrecking most of the board wipes. So pretty much only Farewell is our issue here. Our opponent might bring Wandering Emperor, but they never... So we're not casting it now. We all... Starnheim Unleashed, X equals 1. That's fine. Now that's why we saved that Infernal Grasp. And that... And there we go. Actually, we could have also not shown the Infernal Grasp and just went Den of the Bugbear. So that said, Duresses come in. I suspect this is a Lear build, so Callous Blood Mage comes in. Not so sure about the Infernal Grasp. We could still get them with Voltage Surge. I'm gonna put 2 Upgrades in just to have an answer for artifacts. The Smelter was quite good that time, so we might cut 1 Predator, cut the Dominating Vampires. I'm thinking of cutting the Soul Rippers. I'm gonna cut some of the Voltage Surge, but not all of them. There is an argument for another Infernal Grasp -1 Voltage Surge. The thing is, the Voltage Surge... No, I take it back. Because Voltage Surge can still hit Planeswalkers, which might actually be a bigger deal here. So we might actually adjust it that way. We cut some of the Infernal Grasp instead. Oni-Cult Anvil will be annoying. Blood-Tide Harvester, it's still a 3-2 for 2, so we will keep that. Vampire Socialite might actually be the weakest one in the face of all the board wipes. I do like the idea of running one on Anya, but we're gonna leave it at like this for now. See how this goes. So we're looking for a hand with duress. Basically, having as much early information about our opponent as possible is a very big deal. I would not be surprised if our opponent has a lot more spot removal. Though, yeah, they're running the board wipe plan. Yeah, this time we're not cutting the smelters because Epicure into Epicure into Smelter not quite because you're missing 1 mana. But Epicure into a 2-drop into a Smelter is quite good. Epicure into a Bloodcaster is okay, so we can cast these 2. We won't be able to cast these 2, so we're taking a risk here. Now we can cast all of them. So, Fateful Absence, Disdainful Stroke. Our spell so far dodged the Disdainful Stroke. We can cut the Emerius Call to mess them up on mana. They only have an Otawara though. Fatal Absence is kind of fine. We can't stop we can stop it with a Braid, I guess. So it's either cut them. No, let's cut the Doomscar. So turn 2 Blood-Tide Harvester. Our opponent might be incentivized to just bomb this immediately. Since our opponent's thinking also, it probably means, well, this is their only blue source right now, unless they drew another one. They might be tempted to just play this. Now they're deciding if they want to take the 3 damage against a semi-aggro deck, I see. Nope, they're going for that. We run the Bugbear, we run the Harvester. Let's see if our opponent gives us the clue token. I'm perfectly fine with that. Now the big issue is that we're gonna... Okay, so I need to decide that... Okay, there's only 1 unknown. Yeah, let's go for it. There's only 1 unknown. Let's see if our opponent has a removal for this. Because they could go Legion Angel, which we can swing in. So it's not quite bad. So... try through the swamp. Swing first because we're never gonna block anyway. Let's see what we hit off the top. Voltage Surge, Voldaren Epicure. We know we're gonna be swimming against a lot of Legion Angels, so maybe we do take the Voltage Surge. Opponent hits 5 mana, they hit Imrit. So 5/5 not getting past that. Okay, so it's Ward 4. We technically only need the upgrade, but we need a lot more mana, so I could crack the clue, but we're gonna pass. Well, at least we're swimming in them. Oh wait, Ward 4 is enough. We have a Voltage Surge. Opponent is definitely super suspicious of this. Oh, but they're gonna block anyway. I guess it makes sense. So first strike damage first. So it's 1 and 4. Oh! And I don't even need to sacrifice the clue token. Florian doing quite a lot of work. Okay, we need to be careful if our opponent does get mana for Cave with the Frost Dragon. I do suspect they're more likely to just replay the Legion Angel. So we'll go Abrade, Florian, hit something. Now they are leaving Disdainful Stroke mana, so we want... It's between the Bloodcaster and the Oni-Cult Anvil. I say we go Bloodcaster. We don't need to cast the Callous Blood Maid's twice. And we could even sack the Clue token end of turn, depending what our opponent does. Celestus, so... They could yeah, they're still gonna cast that, so we're probably still gonna crack this. Okay, at least we hit the land, so... And how many angels has that been? That's 2, 3, 4... Ooh, interesting. Probably going to... Draw a card, lose a life. Yes, perfect. Each player sacks a creature. Sacks a Callous Blood Maid, gets us a blood token. Swing for 5. We're going to take one of the lands, since we can't cast anything, and since we can't play it anyway. Now, Memory Deluge means they're digging for a rat, but they will have to cast Legion Angel first. Sunset Revelry. That buys them a bit of time. Although, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8... Hold on. These all fly. Oh no, this doesn't fly. Okay. So... yeah, I have an issue with that. I could... 1, 2, 3... But we know our opponent only did not get anything else after that, so... I need to decide if I want to... I don't want to do Image Trump. I think I do Image Trump Predator. We're gonna transform. Now, this is only for casting a spell, so maybe we should have held up 1 black mana. But I also... Opponent gonna start Chump Block City. Okay. Hold on, what's their life? 5? We only have 1 black mana left. Still trying to hold up village rights. Opponent really in dire need of a rat board wipe. Legion Angel. Okay, so they're not doing the board wipe plan. They're doing the Legion Angel plan. I think that's also their last angel. Yeah, that's their last angel. We survived all 4 Legion Angels. Okay, opponent does have another Malevolent Hermit. Let's see if our opponent does the Desperation Swing. No, they did not. I think it was darn epic here. Into a Voltage Surge. Nice. Opponent could sack to counter it, which I'm fine with. That's 1 less blocker. Wait, can we pay? No, we can't pay. It's worth a shot. At least we kind of got out. We could have done it a lot earlier, though. keep the Memory Deluge. Yeah, opponent concedes. We get them right then and there. Woo-wee! That was a... Okay, now that was admittedly a scary matchup. I usually hate going up against Azorius control. I will admit our opponent's Azorius control seemed to have a lot more creatures than expected. Then again, that was after the sideboard, so that it kind of makes sense there. So hey, we made our money back. Let's keep going. Actually really happy. Okay, I'm actually quite happy with this one. I'm definitely a lot happier than the Dimir Challenger deck. I will give the caveat that the Dimir Challenger control deck seems to be geared against opponents that are aggro and mid-range, but if you face off against fellow control, it's horrible. Here, at least, we did go up against two control-ish decks, so now the question is, can we survive an aggro deck? Well, we'll see. It's possible that if we go up against the likes of, say, mono white, we are too slow. We will need a lot of our removal to hit. But anyway, we'll see how this goes. So far, okay, into a non-keepable hand. I would not risk it even if this was a mountain. If any one of these cards, even the Enrica, because you don't usually want her early anyway. If any of these cards were another source of the right colors, or even if it's just some double swamp, I would be willing to keep it because these three are kind of playable on their own right. So I'm definitely gonna keep my mouse away off to the left side just to make sure I don't accidentally click keep. Okay, definitely mulling this. Definitely keeping this. So what do we bin? It's either it's either Smelter and Anvil. I'll probably bin the Smelter. I could also just bin a land. But we will eventually start drawing into 3 and 4 drops. Who dares wins. Okay, just a reminder, this is probably the more correct card to bin. And then Juressus, so we probably will lose the Oni-Cult Anvil or the Voltaic. Okay, we'll lose the Anvil, that's fine. Opponent main decking Juressus, so this might just be mono black control. Oh no, it's Dimir. Okay, it's Dimir. Into another Juressus, so we will lose the Voltage Search, but it does allow us to cast Voldaren Bloodcaster for free. Also, let's see if our opponent figures out what we do. We also Soul Ripper is a possibility, but I probably don't want to sacrifice this. We're gonna play the Bloodcaster first. That way, if our opponent does have some sort of removal, we will get blood tokens out of it. It will kind of allow us to play Soul Ripper, I guess. I'm assuming our opponent has a Meathook Massacre, which is no, and Meathook does not. She definitely does not go for the sacrifice. I'm thinking it's either transform or draw loose. Here, draw loose. Mana value less than the number. Okay, so we definitely don't have that. This might be our first really bad matchup between the double Juressus. I'm probably gonna also run my own Juressus off the sideboard at this point. We are one black mana shy for Enrica. Yeah, opponent hitting all their lands is gonna kill. Jose. So they could like say gun for our Voltage Surge or well, if it's Oni-Cult Anvil, they're welcome to both of them. They're probably gonna realize that our deck is not really centered around Oni-Cult Anvils, and it is a bit of a feel bad. But they are gonna get full information about our deck, which is probably the biggest issue here. They could go for the sack. I would not be surprised if they did. Okay, we'll resolve that because I can't really do anything about that. It's my choice. So she's sacrificing Enrica. I will sacrifice the Smelter. That is super weird. So I can't gain control, but I can crew. And in fact, I'm gonna give our opponent the choice. Is this enters the battlefield, so she's already done exiling. Like, I can sack the vampire to get ourselves another one, but we're gonna decline. Let's see if our opponent does block Katose. That will still give us a token no matter what. There we go. And as long as you control Katose, so they don't even the cards they're giving up are quite weird. And we're gonna hold back. If our opponent doesn't drop anything big, so attack a Numa. Or another Katose. So if they cast that, we can snipe it in response. Now we might kiss all our Voltage Surges goodbye. I hope you enjoy all two of my Mukut. Okay, our opponent is playing an admittedly very interesting deck. It seems to be designed around taking apart what our opponent has. Yeah, sure. So that slows us down a bit. It does give us another blood token, but I'm not incentivized to crack yet. Yep, rewarded. Draw a card, lose a life. That's fine. Opponent might have the eventual blood in this node. It will get them back Kaito, actually. Let's see if our opponent has to respond to this. Because we are threatening lethal. Oh, I forgot about that. Okay. Let's pitch one of these first. But you know what? We'll let that resolve. We'll let it trade. I'm actually fine with it. Because we get to resolve Innerstrom Predator afterwards, and our opponent is already in lethal range. Opponent will need an exile effect after this. we can kind of protect it once. We have no defense against a bounce effect. And the opponent concedes, so we actually got there. So what do we know about our opponent's deck? They like to take our cards apart, so we're taking these. We're also taking the Infernal Grasp. They have ways of getting cards back, so we're bringing the Callous Blood Mage. So what we cut? Smelters. I'm willing to keep the Soul Ripper, but okay, as usual, one Predator. We're cutting the Dominating Vampires because those usually don't hit. I guess we can cut the 2 Soul Rippers and we can add one Anya. Just to spice things up a little bit. I also noticed if we don't bring in the Forebears, it's a super big lack of 3 drops. We'll see if they start bringing in more artifacts. But there we go. We're going to start with this one. Hopefully they don't lead on turn 1 Duress, especially if we have our own Duress. It's going to be a very interesting matchup, I will admit. So no turn 1 Duress, but we do have access to a bunch of turn 2 goodies. We're also on track to hit turn 4 Immerstrom Predator. We want to delay it a little bit. No, I guess we go for it. Let's force them to use... If they have the disruption, let's force them to use it immediately because I cannot have them hold these guys hostage. You could go Deadly Dispute, sack. Instead of getting the treasure token, it's the -1. So they're only +1 on mana. So you get a blood token as a consolation prize, I'd say. Just have to remember to hold up the toes. Well, we don't necessarily need to hold it up, I'd say. I think is an interesting one. It's an argument for having Deathfire.
Powerful won't help. I'll do it myself. Now this is a juicy secret.
Let's also take a look at what cards they discard, because Callous Blood Mage might be a very... Okay, it's just a land. Maybe not quite yet. I will take it out. Champion Gas. I think the draw card, use the life is probably still more important here. Yes, Oni-Cult Anvil. So we have choices now. We don't need the blood token quite yet. Opponent's probably going to use the draw card function.
Thanks.
The pass is probably the more concerning part. So we're going to attack first, see if it gets anything out of our opponent. No, it does not.
Would have had me if I wasn't so fast.
Neither does that. I don't need the blood token. It's actually... Okay, I feel weird saying that after. Considering we're swimming in lands, that might not be the best statement to say. Let's see if our opponent hits Katose. Yes, it's Katose. It's... Oh, super bad. We're gonna lose all of them. You can deny it. And now we can go for Immerstrom Predator. Though I will note that we might... Let's see, Immerstrom... Because our opponent's gonna probably swing and draw a card. We have to take the damage. Oh no, they're not swinging.
I got someone on the inside who can help.
So Bloodfell Caves... No, let's actually hold that back. Hey, Immerstrom Predator. Let's see how our opponent blocks. maybe I should not have attacked with Hold in case our opponent did have spot removal. Although, yeah, we got ourselves a token that way anyway. And yeah, because of the timing, we get ours first. We can hold this back. So we can kind of protect Immerstrom Predator from anything but a Meat Massacre. Opponent is positively swimming in snow-covered swamps. Foxtail the Corrosive. Yeah, we might not be able to serve unless we can hit another piece of removal. We are not getting past this Foxtail.
There's no secret I can't uncover.
So we're actually kind of racing here. We're eventually gonna lose this race because it puts counters on it every turn.
Oh, the fun just started.
We can slow it down, but we're... Oh yeah, also it kind of locks us out of our Oni-Cult Anvil. Yeah, but opponent hits so much mana so soon. Probably gonna have to take this hit. Yeah, we need to hit a removal, and we're so light on removal. That's the awkward thing. Well, also getting dunked on by lands is not a great part also. Massacre X equals 3. Okay. And this is actually really bad. Yeah, I think we're gonna concede this one because we really don't have the lands right now for this. So knowing what our opponent has, we need to be faster. Voltage Surge kind of deals with the middle part. We really need to go wide at this point. Forebear might actually be a fine addition now. Socialite is kind of okay. We can cut the Anvil now, actually. I guess there's an argument for running a Braid plus Voltage Surge so you can get additional shots. Yeah, but we need more sack effects. We're gonna run it like this. But yeah, we're probably gonna lose to either Hullbreaker Horror or Toxrill based on our opponent's build. This is our third control deck in the row, but this looks like the one that's gonna get us. So unfortunately, I have to give up on playing something on... Well, since our opponent mulliganed, I'm very incentivized to Duress. And maybe we don't get too punished. We'll see. But our opponent giving up 2 cards makes the Duress even sweeter. Now, it will be a whiff if our opponent didn't have it. Oh. So, Blood Vial Purveyor. I would probably say that our opponent might have also been running this could be, yeah, except for the Meat Hook Massacre. This does look like okay, so this is an undead. Now we have choices if we need to ditch for lands. But more likely than not, we're going to actually need some help to take out the Blood Vial Purveyor. We're going to take the hit because we can.
system can't fix everything, but we can. I know something you don't know.
Okay, then the bugs are kind of unfortunate, but we can run into Enrica later. I'm actually quite incentivized to just go Callous Blood Mage, although opponent, we did force out one. Okay, actually none of these are quite. Yeah, let's just draw. If our opponent manages to hit the Blood Vial Purveyor, we can grasp it. Blood Chief's Curse. That's actually fine. Opponent probably just draws cards again. Oh no, they're going to the ninja.
Our eyes are everywhere.
So
Get in,
unloaded.
get out. Easy mission. Now, what do we have here?
now I could just swing with the Callous Blood Mage, but that feels super necessary. We're gonna go Image from Predator first if we can. No attacks this time, because we need to keep one creature up just in case. I would not be surprised if our opponent does go for the Blood Vial Purveyor now. Let's see if he goes for taking out the Callous Blood Mage. Now let's see if our opponent has a kill spell in response. They did. Okay. But that... So...
Thanks. I'll be taking that now.
This is getting dangerously close, but we should be able to clear it out. But yeah, Kaito Shizuki is very super powerful value engine. Should not underestimate.
There's no secret I can't uncover.
Kotose. Takes out the Image from Predator, which makes sense. They were taking notes. We can just hit Kaito up top for now. And just leave up Enrica Donati, I guess. Yeah, oh yeah, I did. Oh, by the way,
I'll find another way.
We do have to kill this one now. And this is, as long as you control Kotose, not a card named Kotose, so yeah, definitely not letting them have their hands on this. They do know we have an Infernal Grasp, so it's... So this is a... Yeah, we're gonna be in here for a long time. Opponent
Now
this
is a juicy secret.
Let's see. Do they do the Blood Vial Purveyor right away? If they do, we can just Infernal Grasp end of turn. Then this view. Cashing in. Okay. I think you're looking for something to take out Enrica. Massacre. X equals 3. Okay, that's a shame. Let's see. In that case, might as well crack this now. Okay, we can keep that. We do get 2 more blood tokens, but because the blood caster is not there, the transform means nothing. So I would say that having the manland be Den of the Bloodbear instead of Hive of the Eye Tyrant is an interesting choice. Opponent knows I've been sandbagging this. Yeah, finally drops the Blood Battle Surveyor. Probably goes for draw discard. It makes sense.
There's
Probably
no
digging for a
secret
Fading
I
Hope. I'm
can't
trying to remember.
uncover.
Yeah, the games have been blending. The first 2 matches being also having blue. First. Yeah, thanks for the blood. So can't activate this. Okay, so we can Infernal Grasp, but that will give our opponent Mascot Exhibition. All sorts of yuck. But we do need to answer Kaito, so I have to decide between... Yeah. We're probably gonna lose this one, so we're gonna let them have the Mascot Exhibition. Yeah. It leaves a horrible taste in my mouth, but we're probably not set to win anyway. And if we can get our opponent to cast a really expensive spell that's not Toxrill, I would be... Besides, our opponents at the mana, they probably have the Toxrill. We did not have that. So, some good news there. They're using a Blood Chief's Thirst, so I'm kind of fine with that. Well... Yeah, we kind of need to draw more cards, so I am going to hold up to fill this guy up. There is a very good chance... Oh yeah, also we have to block this guy. Now, if they have a way to kill it, we're kind of hosed anyway. Yeah, this is gonna be our first loss, but you know what? We did take out one win off them, so can't complain too much. I'm gonna start winning the Duress because although there might be a good target for it, it's kind of way too late at this point. We need to find answers for what is already on board. The Forebear can't block's gonna kind of... Although, yeah, we just gave up a blood token for that too. Let's see what we draw in response. Plane. Mountain. Yeah, yes. We tried. My gosh, we tried. Yeah, we're gonna lose up top here anyway. I guess, well, we can snipe. No, we can't snipe. It's just a... We're pretty much playing Epic here into Social Life. Yeah, that's good. Well, sometimes that's the way it goes, but we will accept it. It is what it is. Let's hope that we can at least... I would also like to see a match that is not control for once. Please. This cannot be the night where everyone plays control. Yeah, all the games have been very long. Like, we're already at 1.5 hours in, and that's just 3 matches. My gosh, so long. To be fair, 2 of the matches went the distance, but yeah, all 3 of them. No. The first one, it went 3 games. The second one did not go 3 games. This one went 3 games. I'd not be surprised if our opponents sided out the Juresses, expecting us to bring in as many creatures as possible. We had no choice but to side in our Juresses. Could we... But yeah, Kaito is... Well, I would not call Kaito the new Oko, even though it rhymes, but... pretty good for what he does. Okay, so opponent's waiting for our choice. The safest is just to go Bloodfell Caves. Always safe, right? Okay, so we can start. We're probably gonna start dumping Voldaren Bloodcasters. Do they have a kill spell? Oh my gosh, this is control again? Ugh. I think I almost bombed it. So the Voltage Surge might not do very... It could still kill a Bank Buster, and also the Pilot Token, I like that. Oh, Esper. Please make a...
With the right tools, I can do anything.
Please don't draw... Yes!
I'm hungry. Gonna get a snack. I've got all kinds of connections.
Yeah, we're gonna just play all of these. Our opponent's still a ways away from Farewell. Now I do have to decide if I want to... Now this is admittedly super greedy if our opponent happens to have another black mana and Meat Hook Massacre. There's the other black mana. Let's see if they have the Meat Hook. You're not crewing it with that guy. Smart, taking... They don't realize... It's not that kind of deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But our opponent's about to hit 5 mana. So I think the best bet is to actually swing. If our opponent drops a really large tree... Hold on, this is only target creature, so yeah. It'll be awkward if our opponent... Oh, it's just a fairy. So they can untap. They can also look for cards, but they're most likely going to do a tap-untap strategy. And also gains them 2 life, which makes some sense. Okay.
Don't worry. It's only a little mischief.
Now, we kind of have to do a split like this. If we could kill them immediately, I would go for it, but kind of have to do the split. Take out as much board presence as possible. It's gonna just be super awkward when our opponent finally does drop a farewell out of necessity, or although Doomscar is not too bad, we get 6 tokens out of this. They have Hall of the Storm Giants, but not enough mana. Mark of Otherworldly Light. It exiles, so... Well, token first. Let's see if they have another one. It's the mana. Drawing cards. I think they're digging for a Doomscar. Opponent concedes, they did not hit it. So we want to press a lot of early aggression in this case, since our opponent is going for the Planeswalker special. Definitely Duress in. Infernal Grasp. They didn't have that many targets. A Braid is more likely to be useful here. Cut the Smelters as usual, cut the Dominating Vampires. One Predator, one on, yeah. Soul Ripper is kind of fine. I kind of want to sneak in one Forebear, but as long as they still think we're an Oni-Cult Anvil deck, we should still keep the Oni-Cult Anvil. So there we go. This, I will admit, this is super out of my comfort zone, so not that very easy to play. I guess if I were, now that I'm starting to think of it, first upgrades, Pathways, Haunted Ridges, the Voldaren Estates are kind of fine, but yeah, they're painful too, but we could also... Okay, Epicure, Bloodfell Caves. No, I think we run Bloodfell Caves first. Which means... yeah. Which allows us to do a lot of things, actually. It allows us... We'll play the Bloodtide Harvester first. It's the most aggressive card, and we know that our opponent's deck is... Concealing Purpose. Take away that option ASAP. And I think we just leave up the village rights. Yeah, we leave up village rights. So opponent does have a more defensive strategy. It's also kind of annoying too, but... Is our opponent stuck on mana? Let's take it back. They might have a kill spell for this, that's why we're holding up the village rights. No kill spell. So we probably just play the Oni-Cult Anvil. Let's see, opponent. Oh yeah, also because Vanishing Verse does not hit blood. Yeah, they really need the March of Otherworldly Light among other cards. So they're gonna. So what did they exile? Rave and Feeblement. So since we got rid of. And since we got rid of that, we can now safely convert the blood token into a construct. If our opponent does not hold up counterspell magic, I will run the Predator ASAP. That's perfect. You know, it's also tempting to run Enrica, but yeah, opponent getting stuck on mana. They did have a lot of responses. That's a lot of marching. Opponent might. Opponent concedes. They fell too far behind. I was already thinking, yeah, we're gonna go sacrifice. We definitely sack the token. We're losing some points of damage, but yeah, we managed to survive that. Our opponent did get stuck there, so a little punished on that end. So made up. So 50% profit, not bad. Let's keep going. And also that match was not that long. I think it only took us like 12 minutes. Okay, maybe it's still very long. So long I need to hydrate. Always remember to hydrate, guys. So sure, not bad. Epicure into Bloodcaster, just one more mana for Florian. Oh, okay. So for those who don't know what happened, it's the same opponent again. So we're gonna automatically do a lot of the subs that we know. So minus Smelter. -1. Minus the Dominating Vampire. Infernal. I did bring in some upgrades. Yeah, the inability to hit planeswalkers is a thing. Okay, I'm pretty sure I forgot something. Nope, this is correct. This is correct. Yeah, so for those wondering what happened, this was the same opponent. So it looks like we got straight to sideboard. And okay, this is sketchier. Also because Mukotai Soul Ripper can't be crewed by just one Epicure. Yeah, I think the 3 drops are more important than the 1 drop. Although the 2 drop is... Opponent also leading on double white, so... Oh yeah, remember, this is black, so this could be Vanishing Verse. I think our opponent might get their revenge on us, but we are already leading by 1 game because our opponent just through in the tower. I'm just gonna lead on Epic here. There is no need to swing right away. It's gonna be our first test of Anya if we ever go long. Kinda unlikely. Shipwreck. Man, opponent is really holding onto counter spells. So we're gonna try to draw into more cards. Predator's nice. I can see a strat where I just play the... I see a strat where I start with Duress to find out what is our opponent actually sandbagging. Probably eats a counter spell. No, Memory Deluge, Wandering Emperor, Vanishing Verse. I'm gonna have them decide which one to exile among these. Technically, they could just exile this guy. There are many ways to exile this. I'm definitely not sacking. Because our opponent could just go for Wandering Emperor, do the plus. This does have flying. It will force them to use up their March of Otherworldly Light if it gets to that point. Yeah, so our opponent did keep a really good hand for this. They could also just Vanishing Verse. These are just mono black cards after all. I suspect they... Oh, they done. That works too. Now let's see, do they do the Wandering Emperor to nuke the Falcon Rat Forebear? They can do that, but they will not be... So we are gonna force them to start using their removal now. So this might eat the Vanishing Verse. No, not okay. Creates a blood token, which is nice. I'm gonna start with Florian first. Because I need them to use this up, knowing that our cards are gonna... these cards are going to... They will not dodge Wander, but they will dodge Vanishing Verse. So I need to force them to use this one ASAP. I'm fine. Oh, I could have also played the Vampire Socialite. There was no reason to hold it. I guess I was afraid they might draw into a Doomscar. That would be just as annoying. They could go Vanishing Verse now. I could just respond by making a token, dropping the Vampires. Oh wait, no. It'll cost 4. I will not be able to drop Vampire Socialite if I make a token. Do I still make the token? That's the question. Oh, opponent's just taking. Oh no, they're not gonna take us. Which reverse do I make? I also don't know if this is removed. But they did already use up the march. So we'll resolve that. Also, we at least get one shot. Now, I could just replay this, but we're actually going to just hold up the mana. We're probably never going to swing with Anja until... okay. They did stock up on removal. I did not. No, technically, if they do a board wipe, I can just sack Vampire Socialite. Oh, I should have put the Bloodcaster first, because it looked like there was a chance I was going to end up sacking the Socialite.
Of Kamigawa, and I will protect my people. Guards, to me!
Okay. So please no farewell. Farewell would be really brutal. Okay, if there's a farewell, it's not quite yet. Spiders might be an issue.
Are you enraptured by my beauty? Aren't I the generous one?
Let your blade do the talking.
So I definitely want to swing into these guys. I definitely want to swing with Vampire Socialite too. Do I want to swing at the Bloodcaster? Probably not. Then we'll just do some math to see. Okay, they're doing the double block. They might let the Emperor die. I guess that makes sense. So let's see. It's 1 mana to make a token. Might as well do that. Might as well crack one. See if we can get anything out of this. Nope, just a land. Let's crack another one.
Back to wandering.
Do my will cannot be denied.
Probably don't want to play the mountain. Yeah, probably don't want to play the mountain. Now our opponent can Wandering Emperor, one of our predators now. No way around it. They could also have the Farewell, which would be really nasty. We kind of have to take it though. Though technically, if they had the Farewell, they would have swung with both. So it's probably just Wandering Emperor part use. We lose one predator.
Finally, I'm home. You're done.
Yeah, not for sure.
I'll tell you a secret.
It's really nice. Okay, the Voltaic Surge is nice.
At least there is blood on your hands.
Let's gonna crack one. See if we can hit anything else. Blood-Tide Harvester is a fine hit. Our opponent might have a third Wandering Emperor, which would be annoying. Can't really do much about that.
I'm never done for good.
Let's see if our opponent have... Yep, they had the third one. I figured they would. That was Predator's down.
Anyone who harms my people must contend with me. I am almost sad to see you go.
Yeah, let's see. Ooh, that's probably a Doomstar. So we're gonna actually see if we can hit anything. Yeah, we'll discard the Bloodcaster. And Rita's a good hit. We will draw a card and lose a life. Florian's also a good hit. We'll trade the Samurai token. Because the blood tokens are probably more valuable to us as blood tokens. Opponent has another lot. We can convert her into a 3/4.
Darkness will swallow the light. My power is for
having to deal with all
annihilation.
them planeswalkers is gonna be an annoying sight. Yeah,
Remember
we can
your
still
training.
make her a 3/4. Do they have a counter spell? Actually, not gonna attack. We'll find an out for the Wandering Emperor.
Oh yes, I know
Also,
the
because
knowledge
if
you
this is a
seek.
rat, the fairy. Oh yeah, we also have to be careful with the time. Oh wow, opponent has the combo. They can use the fairy to tap the Predator.
Enough. It needs our help.
But it will kill Wandering Emperor, so maybe not too bad.
A second here, a second there. Who's counting?
So finally uses up all
Still have much
that
to
Emperor
learn.
powers. This could
You are not much
Legion
of a
Angel.
roadblock.
Okay, we're gonna be here all day. Opponent is gonna swing with everything. Oh, okay, not all. Hit an epic here. Actually, no, we're gonna pass. Let's assume this is still a rat effect. It could also be a Starnheim Unleash, which would be very annoying, but let's hold on to the blood token for now. Our best bet might actually just be to... Yeah, because this is an uphill battle. Our best bet might just be to...
I take no joy in the slaughter, but it's necessary work.
okay, we'll let that go.
Don't worry. It's only a little mischief.
We can now turn it Florian though. At least the first strike does matter. But yeah, we're gonna... Yeah, all these tokens. Probably the best bet is to just concede at this point.
My hatred lives.
Okay, let's crack this first, see if we can find something good, but our best bet's probably to just move on. Yeah. Wait. One more shot. Yeah, we did not have the fast aggro start. So we're gonna go... Let's see if our opponent gets their vengeance on us, or if we're able... So it's really the Duress... Callous Blood Mage, not really. The Soul Ripper is... They do have a lot of tokens though. We can kind of... Not so sure if this is gonna be the winning game or not, but hey, at least we got we won 3 matches, so can't complain too much. This would be kind of how I rate the decks anyway. I do kind of put this in third. Yeah, definitely keeping this. Epicure into Socialite is a very good aggro start. Epicure to upgrade also a plan B. Opponent might have more curtains, which would be annoying. Reckoner Bank Buster. Yeah, that's why. Then next turn we can go Vampire Socialite again. Let's see if our opponent has Circle of Confinement. Ooh. What's the penalty? They gain 2 life. So I hit them for 2, they gain 2 life, but I get... Or I could just cast Florian while I'm still free to do so. Yeah, let's do that. Let's cast Florian first. Yes. I would not be... This does feel strange. Normally Circle of Confinement is not the play. It would usually be one of many other White Exile effects. I would not be surprised if someone just went out of their way to mess with our deck, but yeah, it randomly hits. If our opponent's tanking, they probably don't have to... They either have a lot of choice with their 4th land, or they don't have a 4th land. Although I will note that losing the Bloodfell Caves is going to be a bit sketchy because let's see if they have the Wandering Emperor. No. March? Sure, March is fine. Yeah, gain 2 life. Still need the mana for Enrica, though... Yeah. Well, let's say that's a Doomscar. No, we're hitting our voltage surges, although we don't quite need them. play Oni-Cult Anvil. See if they have a response to this. We not cracking this in case we do need to hit the voltage surge. Opponent did hit 6 mana. Is it farewell? Also, the way that farewell is sequenced, I believe it takes out artifacts and enchantments first, so it will also take out the Vampire Socialite. Based on how durations work. Okay, tapping mana in the reuse. So there's Dracula.
Consider yourself fortunate our motives align.
So I can Voltage Surge end of turn, force them to use up a Juari Disruption, I guess.
Well.
Though I might prefer to wait for them to cap confinement.
Excuse my sudden egress.
Yeah, it's a shame that Oni-Cult Anvil can't sack creatures. That's kind of where this one falls apart. Let's see what they have. Hey, nice. Now this could still be a rat effect, so I'm actually gonna hold back. Let's just force some rat now. Cancel. Since we're doing it anyway. Okay, opponent's starting to cash that Bankbuster in. This goes down.
This is a serious
that's
situation.
kind of slow, I would say, is what I'd call it. It will gain 2 life, which would be annoying.
Give me a moment. For a few. Is that what they're calling an attack these days?
So we're actually gonna hold this. Opponent does have the Doomscar. So yeah. We kind of expected them to have a Doomscar at that point. Now I could sack, but because it's not my turn, I am not getting a token. Nice crew. They do get to untap with it though, so that is a brilliant strategy. So they will swing at us for 5? Sure. Yeah, being stuck on mana is kind of a pain.
Second there. Who's counting?
No. Well, we did hit the braid. We can wait for them to try to crew it before we snipe it, I guess. Yeah, this is probably going to be a lost game for us. Wow, we're already at the 2-hour mark. What's with all these control matches? Would it hurt to give me a regular match for? Okay, we take 7. We can hit back at Teferi for 1. Okay, we take 8. Finally hit that 4th mana. I'm not so sure how great it is. We do have to cast this now. They might have the Jawari Disruption to mess us. Okay. So we do have to swing first though. And as much as I'd like to do draw a card, lose a life, we are in danger of... We have to kind of transform immediately. Also, though technically Teferi can tap it down anyway. Man, also gain 2 life. What the heck, dude?
I'll show you how it's done.
At least we get to do a little bit of cycling. Do they have a kill spell for this? I'd be so annoyed if they do. But yeah, now they're swimming in planeswalkers.
I will show you what happens. Subservience will be rewarded.
Like the dumbest trick we can do is just to keep tapping, untapping Oni-Cult Anvils, cycling this up just to keep up. But man, Teferi, who gains 2 life each turn. Yeah, I already know what additional changes are needed now. So I want to see if our opponent goes for the double block. March of Wretched Sorrows. Yeah, they had it all. They probably go for the single block, but I can at least undo it. But yeah. The weakness of the vampire deck is essentially that if you can't go wide, it does fall easily. That said, considering all our matches have been control matchups, we kind of did well. We are about to do 5 damage. But yeah, seriously, so. Yeah, this is gonna get out of hand. I do suspect our opponent is gonna leave one blocker behind. So at least we... Oh, and if you think this is bad now, note that in New Capenna, we're going to...
My children will
they're gonna
take care of you.
These colors are going to get their triomes. Yeah, this is really not good. Well, so our opponent got their vengeance. Yeah, we can set it up so our opponent blocks all 3. Yeah, we want to trade off as much as possible.
We will slay our enemies.
Yeah, I guess okay. We'll concede after this turn.
Aren't I generous?
Yep, You were not that gracious the first time around. In fact, I would say that you were... Well, no. I don't honestly know what happened. I'm pretty sure it was just the same deck, same player. So yeah, we were kind of... So as you can see, we were 50-50 there. It's not quite perfect. We only got three match wins, but we'll claim it for what it is. Ourselves a nice Spirit of Annihilation and other regular goodies. So how do we adjust this deck? One, we have a very poor control matchup. Like, if our only plan is to just cast Voltage Surge, that is super weak. I would say we definitely need a lot more planeswalker removals. So look. So the immediate upgrades I would recommend here. Bloodchief's Thirst is a maybe. It does give us a cheap removal option if the Voltage Surge does not hit. It is expensive if we're taking a planeswalker. Baleful Mastery is probably the premier version of this answer. I would say Assassin's Ink, but we don't exactly have any enchantment creatures. Soul Transfer, Soul Shatter are also decent options. We never got a real aggro matchup, but I think that over time we can keep up with aggro. It's just that we need specific matchups against control. Along those lines as well, no reason not to run our own Count Dracula, but probably shore up some of the questionable cards like Sokenzan Smelter. Yeah, it's kind of a fit. So is the Oni-Cult Anvil, but it's super weird. I actually think the Voltage Surge is the best fit here. Valky would be nice, I guess. But other than that... Okay, would shifting to Snow? Probably not. I would not recommend that quite yet. If there's a lot of control, maybe... Because usually they rely on planeswalkers, maybe a heated debate might be worth considering. No. We're black-red. Nothing really good for black-red here. We are actually skipping a lot of the other vampires as well. Like, we are only having 2 copies of Vampire Socialite, Florian. Olivia would be a nice choice, but very expensive at 6. Probably not a great idea. I do love the 4 Image Drum Predator, but we do need a lot of cheaper drops. We can't just rely on the 1 and 2 drops. Another alternate plan would be to do the Shambling Gas Eye Twitch plan. Although it's about relying on creatures dying rather than actually getting any sacrifice effects, Oni-Cult Anvil is generally not a good replace. It's no Witch's Oven. Actually, now that you mention it, didn't we have a similar artifact effect? That's like Mukotai is a sacrifice effect. Okay, it's very slow. Oh yeah, the Village Rites could easily be replaced with Deadly Dispute. There is an argument for doing the Restless Bloodseeker, Blood Craze Socialite. No, not Blood Craze Socialite. It's a 3 mana. Oh, because I put in sacrifice. It's whenever you gain life. It's the other one. Hidetsugu. A lot of our cards are very cheap, so we're not exactly dealing a lot of damage, but it could work. But yeah, not so many repeatable sacrifice effects. I guess Falcon Rat Pit Fighter is a good supplement to Voldaren. It does give you a way to draw extra cards, which is kind of where we're losing. Blood Hypnotist might actually be better than Dominating Vampire if we're all about them blood tokens. Likewise, Sanguine Statuette could also be a good fit as well. So there are many directions we could take with regards to that. But we'll pretty much leave that as an exercise for you guys. How do I rate this deck? It's kind of in the middle. I definitely prefer it over the Dimir deck. Not too certain, but I think Gruul and Mono White are still better standbys there. But otherwise, can't complain too much about it. That's going to be it for this episode of the Magic Arena Run. If you like what you saw, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, turn on notifications and whatnot. Wow, it's a very long episode. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you guys again next time. Take care, God bless, stay safe wherever you are. Have a great week, everyone.